Astros baseball on Root Sports starts now.
Tonight from Seattle's Safeco Field, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. It's the first of 3 with the Mariners on this all-important and final road trip of the season. Rookie Lance McCullers seeks his first win since late July as he opposes Seattle left-hander Roenis Elias. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby, Jeff Blum, and Julia Morales back with us as we start things out here on the final road trip of the season in Seattle. The Astros just coming off of taking 2 out of 3 against Texas. And after losing that first game and previously being swept in Arlington, what are your thoughts about the way the team was able to turn it back around?
Yeah, it was a big series against Texas. Somebody you got to gain ground on. Now they're 2.5 back, but beating them after losing that first game is huge. Getting 2 out of 3 in that series hopefully will snowball into something big to finish off this season.
The Astros have come into Safeco Field in the past and done some big things. The Bats have had a lot of success in this ballpark, Jeff.
Yeah, hopefully the Astros can play it to be much like their home ballpark where they do put up big numbers. You see when they are winning ball games here, they're driving the ball out of the ballpark pretty well, but 6.3 runs per game tells you something that these guys like to shoot the gaps, put a lot of guys on base, but they've really been sticking it to that Mariners pitching, and you want to see them continue to do the same thing and finish what they did coming off that homestand, winning 2 out of 3 from Texas.
So we know about tonight's pitching matchup. We've got Lance McCullers going out there for the Astros against left-hander Roenis Elias. In the series, this is what it looks like, and your thoughts about the way it sets up?
Well, a couple of left-handers again. The Astros have been facing a lot of left-handed pitching of late. You hope that translates into them finding the right lineup that A.J. Hinch is putting out there to face these lefties, producing runs. But I think Lance McCullers leading off the series is a good start. Mike Fiers doing a great job. Scott Kazmir is the guy for me that needs to turn things around. And hopefully these first 2 games lead into him finishing off a series sweep here in Seattle.
Coming up, the playoffs have arrived a week early, and the spotlight falls directly on the Astros' youngest starter. How will the fireballing rookie respond to the playoff pressure? Blummer and I talk about it when we come back. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Lance McCullers goes tonight for the Astros. And since he's come back up with the ball club, a very consistent, solid start is what he's been offering time and time again, Blummer.
Yeah, I know the win-loss record isn't going to dictate that. Remember, he came back from the minor leagues where they gave him a little bit of hiatus. That's why that number is so significant. But since that point, he has been one of the more consistent guys in this rotation. And if you look at his numbers and the Astros make it to the postseason, he is definitely a key to that postseason rotation.
Coming up, the Astros can take another big step towards the postseason with a win in the Emerald City tonight. Can Houston's young upstarts smash their way past Nelson Cruz and the Mariners on their way to the playoffs? The game is next.
Against the Mariners, and they look to get after the left-hander for the Mariners tonight, trying to make it 3 straight wins for this Houston Astros club that struggled so much on the road. A win today would start this road trip off right. Chris Carter in the lineup against that southpaw guy who's been hot as of lately. Not a large sample size, but A.J. Hinch going with him as he's responded well to being told that he wasn't getting any playing time. So here he is after some injuries, some minor injuries to the club. Chris Carter in the lineup a few more times, and here's how he's responded, batting .409 since September 15th. 9-game sample for him at a 1,400 OPS, 4 homers in that time, 2 of them coming in the last 2 games. A third straight would be nice. We know he's played well here at Safeco Field, but Carter doesn't really have an answer for why he's been hot here lately, especially after struggling all season long. But he did tell me it's really good for him now to just focus on what the team needs to do. This is not about him. That might have helped him at the plate here recently. They're just trying to win, and they're trying to get to the postseason right now. That's all the focus for him on the plate, keeping it simple. Ashton Blummer, how you doing tonight up there?
Doing just great, Julian. Good to have you back.
Night.
Good to have Blummer back. All back in the fold. Is it cold down there for you, Julia? It's a little chilly. As the guys get started tonight, it will be a little bit chilly here. Beautiful days in the Seattle area. You see A.J. Hinch. Here's the lineup that he brings you, and that's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Altuve in the top spot, 3rd leading hitter in the American League, followed by George Springer and Carlos Correa. Middle 3 in the order, Evan Gattis, he's the DH. At third base, Jed Lowry, and Marwin Gonzalez gets the start in left field. And the bottom 3, Chris Carter talking about him, that power game is back. He's at first Doing the catching, Jason Castro. And in center field, Jake Marisnick.
Roenis Elias, that left-hander, going for the Seattle Mariners, making his 4th start against the Astros this season. He has a 6.65 ERA against these Houston Astros this season, so look for them to keep pushing, driving that number up, making a nice night for Lance McCullers.
So it's the first of 3 in Seattle. Thursday's an off day, then over the weekend, the final 3 games in Arizona against the Diamondbacks, and that's going to do it. And the Astros just trying to go out there and pick up as many wins as possible. They'll be doing some scoreboard watching, and so will we, as the first pitch of the night misses. Altuve having another terrific season, hitting .315. He's the top defensive second baseman in the American League. And now ahead in the count. 14 home runs for Jose. 61 RBIs. So he's starting to become more of that guy that drives the baseball. Has a 2-1 count. Elias, 27 years of age, 19th start of the year, and 21st appearance. A couple of outings out of the bullpen for Elias. Pitch is hammered high and deep left field. Back at the wall and just in front to make the play, Seth Smith. And that's the first out of the ball game, a ball that appeared to be hit quite well.
Defense for the Seattle Mariners here at Safeco. Seth Smith, we just saw him out there in left field. Brad Miller in center. Mark Trumbo out in right field. On the left, Kyle Seager and Ketel Marte. Robinson Cano and Logan Morrison on the right side. And Jesus Sucre behind home plate working with Elias.
So 1 out, Springer stands in. 0 for his last 7. Part of that scoreboard watching we said we would be doing ourselves. Detroit at Texas. Tigers lead at 6-1 in the 6th inning.
I think that Minnesota game just went final also, and they won that ball game. There's a look at it, 4-2 over the Indians.
Now the Twins continue to put a lot of pressure on for that second wild card spot. We'll talk about all of that. The Angels start the night a half a game back of the Astros for the wild card. Minnesota a game and a half back. And with that win for the Minnesota Twins, presently a game back. Yankees are in the top spot for the wild card. But the Astros, for the time being, have their eyes set on the Texas Rangers. This one driven to right center field in the gap and deep, and it gets out of here. Right center field, George Springer puts the Astros on the board right away. 1-0. Astros on top.
Elias trying to come into the kitch and blow up George Springer. We know about his strike zone discipline, lays off him. Gets a pitch down and away and does what you're supposed to do with it. When you got that kind of freak pop that George Springer has, you can take a good pitch on that outer third and drive it out the other way, even in this spacious ballpark here in Safeco. 32nd home run for the Astros against the Mariners in 32 games. I'm sorry, 16 games.
That's very impressive. And for George Springer, his 15th on the year.
Carlo.
It brings up Carlos Correa, who has 21 home runs. That's what you look for from George Springer. And it's starting to come along now, and at a very good time.
This guy, for me, if he gets hot, it's over. They're in the postseason because he can carry a team. And we saw it start here last year in that Seattle to Kansas City road trip.
Intriguing you say that, Blummer, because I've been talking about the very same thing. To me, George Springer kind of becomes the key. And it's not a desire to put pressure on any weight on the shoulders of George Springer. It's just who he is capable of being.
Yeah, I think it's just a simple fact. His skill set is able to do that. And then you combine it with an Altuve, a Correa, Evan Gattis. My goodness.
Correa, obviously one of the 11 Astros hitters with double-digit home runs this year. All-time mark, Jake Marisnick and Jed Lowry just one back of that figure. 1-2 the count on Carlos. George Springer launches one to right center field in a ballpark, number one, where it's chilly tonight, and number two, that favors the pitchers. Got evens at 2-2. So we'll keep a good close watch on that Detroit-Texas game. Top of the 6th inning, 6-1 Tigers lead it.
Good old ex-Astro Brad Ausmus doing the Astros a favor, starting Verlander today.
Now, there had been some talk that Bud Norris might get that start, but Justin Verlander is still in the game. Has worked 5 innings of 1-run baseball. Colby Lewis touched up. The Astros need to get a lesson on how to do that to Colby Lewis. 4 2/3 innings, 10 hits and 6 earned runs against him. Good swing by Correa. Carlos has hit in 6 straight. Went 1 for 4 yesterday in the victory over the Texas Rangers. And boy, those were hard fought victories, those final 2 in the series. The Astros took 5 out of 9 on the homestand. Hit to short. Marte with the play, and out number 2.
Back to George Springer's home run, and you get a chance to see where this pitch is in the strike zone, brought to you by MD Anderson. And that pitch down in the zone. This is not an easy thing to do, but going with the pitch, not pulling off it, staying on it, right back up through the middle. And this is a big ballpark out here in Seattle, showing some of that strength.
Now your team leader in RBIs. Evan Gattis has driven in 86 on the season, 26 home runs, and that also leads the team.
Some Super Mo for you, brought to you by Mattress Firm. But how about the head down on that barrel right there? Massive extension. Watching his swing in Super Mo, it's a little painful if you look at the lower half.
Yeah.
Ankles everywhere.
Where that right foot locks in. Apparently it's the way he's done it all his life, but well, you wonder when something's going to just snap apart on there. Ball and a strike on Gattis. Evans hit safely in his last 3. What does that do to a ball club? You're down the stretch, pennant drive time, and one of the guys steps up in the first inning and puts you immediately ahead.
Oh, it's so big. I mean, as much as the Astros like having that last at bat to put games away, I think on the road they have the ability to ambush. Hey,
this one's crushed to left. 2-0 Astros on a bomb, number 27 by Evan Gattis. And so it's not just one guy stepping up in the first inning, but 2 have done it right now. And that has got to be quite a lift for this Astros club.
That was loud. Strong man putting a big swing on a baseball right there. Talked about how nice it was just to have 1 stick on the board. Now you've got 2 up there. You put up a wiggly number in that first inning. It makes your pitcher feel that much better too. But a hanging changeup, it looked like, from Elias, just leaked back over to the plate. And Evan Gattis put the beard on this one.
27 big home runs for Evan.
33 home runs now for the Astros against Seattle this season.
A lot of clubs don't like coming into Seattle and trying to swing the bats. Just has not been the case for this team. And 87 RBIs for Evan. Well, you couldn't have scripted this a whole lot better for the Astros coming in.
Chevy key to the game. It's brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers. Home away from home. We talked about the numbers in the open, how well they play here, and since 2013 you see that 15-10 record. But how about taking a peek at the Astros jerseys? Normally on the road the team will wear a jersey that says Houston. These jerseys say Astros, so it's a game of adjustments. Taking a little piece of home with them on the road, and so far they're off to a good start.
2013, the year the Astros won just 51 games. They won 8 times in 11 outings here. Wow.
Explain that one.
That's pretty tough. And it's a tough year for the Seattle Mariners and their fans. A lot of people thought the Mariners were the team to beat this year in the American League. Pitch is popped foul on the right side, and that'll drift back to the seats.
You know, we heard some chirping from Robinson Cano signing that big deal last year. They weren't able to sign a big right-handed bat to put in that lineup. Now they add But when they added Nelson Cruz to begin this season, everybody said, oh, this is what's going to put them ahead.
Well, his numbers, you would think, might have done that.
But the bullpen for me, for Seattle Mariners, has been terrible. Last year, they were lights out. Fernando Rodney.
You know what? You bring up a point there that is very true for me. It's a ball and 2 strikes now on Jed Lowry. A lot of people say when you start making strides forward that, well, you're on the path now, it's only going to get better. But in this game, I think any of us who have played realize that that's just not true. You come back, it's a brand new year every year. Hit in the air, shallow in center field. Miller comes on, makes the play, and that'll do it. 2 home runs in the first inning by the Astros. George Springer, an oppo job, and Evan Gattis with the other. Quickly, 2-0 Houston. Solo jobs each, and the Astros on top. The Seattle Mariners line them up with youngster Ketel Marte in the top spot, followed by Kyle Seager and Nelson Cruz. In the middle 3 spots, Robinson Cano, Mark Trumbo, and Seth Smith. In the bottom 3, Logan Morrison, Brad Miller, and Jesus Sucre.
Right here, Lance McCullers going for the Houston Astros.
And first delivery right there at the knees at 95. A lot of guys take a little while to get loosened up. Lance with no sleeves on here in the chill of the evening in Seattle.
There's his numbers. 21st start. Great ERA at 3.22.
Slap foul. 1-2 the count. Never know what it does for a pitcher to get those early 2 runs. It would seem that it has to be a plus. For McCullers, it seems so, even more so, as he delivers the breaking ball for the strikeout, out number 1.
Defense for the Houston Astros when Lance McCullers needs it. Marwin Gonzalez in left, Jake Marisnick in center, George Springer in right. Across the infield, Jed Lowry at third, Carlos Correa at short, Jose Altuve at second. Chris Carter out there at first base, and Jason Castro behind home plate.
So Blummer mentioned it, 21st start of the season for Lance, 7th since his recall from Double-A after being sent down. And that send down had nothing to do with the rough night that Lance had in Arlington against the Rangers. That was all scheduled. He was going down to conserve some innings. 2-0 the count, and he is bringing the gas. Kyle Seager at the plate, having another strong season for Seattle. Pops it up, and that's back to the seats on the left side. Seager, that everyday third baseman, 25 home runs on the year, 71 RBIs. You get the feeling with the Astros that there is nothing tight going on, that they are just a loose bunch that believes they're going to go out and win. McCullers made that major league debut on May 18th and stayed with the club until August 3rd. Made just one appearance with Corpus Christi when he was sent down, and again it was all set up to cut down on the innings pitched. The walk to Seager comes with one out and brings up the dangerous Nelson Cruz.
It's a joy of rookie pitchers right there, isn't it? Looks so great, punching out Ketel Marte. Immediately backs it up with a walk.
And this is not a guy you want to face with men on base. Nelson Cruz led the American League in home runs a year ago. He was playing for Baltimore at the time, and now leads the American League in home runs with 43, up to 96 is McCullers. Cruz has been an all-star 4 times, and in each of the last 3 years. Last year he was 7th in the MVP voting. Good breaking ball. It's now 7-1. The Tigers lead over the Rangers in the bottom of the 6th inning. We are big Tigers fans right about now.
Huge.
The Astros 2.5 back of Texas. Rangers have one more game to play down the stretch than do the Astros. They will play on Thursday while the Astros sit and watch. Rangers presently with 3 less losses than the Astros. Keep in mind the Angels have that very same 74 losses as Houston. Angels in the first inning are trailing Oakland 1-0. That from Anaheim. Fastball blown by. Second strikeout for McCullers. 2 outs here in the inning. Seager still at first base. And now Robinson Cano comes to the plate, having hit safely in his last 10 games.
Some elevated cheese getting past Nelson Cruz. Good velocity at 96 from Lance.
So a couple of good breaking balls for called strikes, and then the heat just being blown by. Robinson Cano got off to a slow start this year, but you can see with the numbers still very respectable. 19 homers while hitting .280. Man, 97. So I guess the quick response to how does McCullers respond to this time of the season would be very well, thank you.
It's good to have these young kids out there. I think it's a benefit having Lance come up so early in the season, also getting plenty of starts under his belt before he has to pitch in a pennant chase like this. Granted, it's only 20 starts ahead of this, but still, that's big league experience, and he doesn't seem to be overwhelmed by the situation.
Quickly 0-2 the count. Nice job by Castro. If you're just checking in, that first inning for the Astros saw George Springer hit one hard and out of here to right center field, and out later Evan Gattis launched one no doubt to left field. Pretty good first inning statement for the Astros. And again, Castro keeps it right there.
We talk about home and road splits. 7th game for the Astros here at Safeco this season. That's their 12th home run.
The Astros have the edge on these Mariners. 10-6 with 3 games to play. Seattle won the season series last year 10-9, and the same story in 2013. All time, the Astros lead the series 34-29. Comes right back to the breaking ball. McCullers last time out pitched quite well after a rocky start, losing to the Angels. But he went 7 innings, allowing just 4 hits and 3 runs. 9 strikeouts in that one for Lance. McCullers leads All-American League rookies in ERA. And now has a 3-2 count. Now put Seager in motion from first. Chris Carter is going to move right behind Seager. McCullers leads the league in batting average against for rookies. Just .225 that batting average against. And strikeouts per 9 innings. And he is just below that 1 per inning rate. Slammed up the middle. 11 straight games hit safely in by Cano. Digging for third is Seager. A walk and a hit with a couple of strikeouts in the inning, and Seattle threatening as Mark Trumbo comes to the plate.
Just a good big league hitter, Robinson Cano. Guarantee he was probably sitting on that 96-mile-an-hour heater, but you see that foot getting down early. The early recognition on the breaking ball, hammers it back up the middle.
Two outs. Runners at the corners. Trumbo at the plate. Hitting .261 with 13 home runs on his year. Got off to a very slow start with Seattle, but has turned it on now. Grounded up the middle. That's going to produce a run. Back-to-back hits by Cano and Trumbo, and Seattle on the board in the first inning. 2-1. Houston leading it.
So often we hear about the get-me-over breaking ball, and I think that's what Lance was trying to do with this pitch right here. Just to get ahead, but it backs up out over the middle of the plate. Big league hitters, when they have guys in scoring position, might alter their game plan a little bit that first AB. Sometimes in their first AB, want to see some pitches, see what the guy has to offer. But when you get a guy in scoring position, those hitters become awfully aggressive early.
So it gets tough here in the bottom of the first inning. Seth Smith at the plate fouls it back. And there's that aggressive approach.
I'm not sure how you were, Ash, but my first at bat, if there was nobody on base, it gave me a chance to maybe take a couple more pitches than I normally would, just because I wanted to see what he was doing or try and pick him apart, see what his fastball looked like, check out a release point. But when you get a guy in scoring position, you've got to be hyper aggressive and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. For me, if you're trying to drive in runs, you'd rather do it with no strikes or 1 strike than with 2 strikes on you.
Yep.
And a lot of times the best pitch you're going to see in any sequence is the first pitch. You talked about the get me over breaking ball. Might have been the mindset from McCullers.
98.
Well, he is just flat bringing it. Lance McCullers among All-American League pitchers with at least 100 innings pitched this year. 7th in ERA. And I'd have to say the glove of Jason Castro is responding pretty well.
It's a little bit of anger behind these fastballs.
You know, Lance is one of those guys, when you're with him, you realize he has kind of a nice balance of cockiness, and he tames it. It's not like he comes across cocky, but he believes that he can get hitters out at any level.
Yeah, there's a certain fire and presence about Lance when he's on the mound.
Got him on the breaking ball. 3 strikeouts in the inning, but a walk and 2 hits. Mariners get a run. It's a 2-1 Houston lead after 1.
And the Mariners opening their final homestand of the season tonight. They've lost 5 straight coming into this game, but could be a very dangerous team for the Houston Astros, who were just playing very intense games with the Texas Rangers, who were hot at the time, but now facing a team who is not in it. And the Mariners struggling right now, but playing very loose. So talking to pitching coach Brent Strom about the difference of playing teams like that, he did mention that it would be very important for them to get on top early. You see a lot of teams that are maybe out of it, give up a little bit too early. That's what they're hoping when they play a team like the Seattle Mariners, guys.
Thanks, Julia. We're set as Marwin Gonzalez rams one deep to left, and it hooks foul at the pole, and that ball was destroyed.
If they're seeing a little something from Elias, because the pitches Elias are leaving out over the plate are getting smashed.
Tell you what, the power from Marwin Gonzalez from the right side of the plate is starting to really grow. Shows bunt takes the breaking ball. Counted 0-2. This ball was really hit.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Too much English on it.
Astros trying to come up with their 3rd home run on the night already. Springer and Gaddis with dingers in the first. One and 2 the count. Roenis Elias, Cuban defector, has spent his entire professional career in this Mariners organization. Hit in the air to center field. That's going to hang up. And Miller has to get back and make a leap at the end to haul it in. Marwin Gonzalez stings it for the first out of the second.
Remember, Brad Miller was a shortstop here for Seattle, getting a chance out there in center field. Misjudged that one a little bit, and that's the hardest play we talk about outfielders to make, is that line drive right at you. Tough to judge that depth perception, but the noise off the bat told me that ball was hit pretty well.
One out for Chris Carter, who's hit in 4 straight. Carter's been making a nice bid to get his name back in the lineup, at least with lefties on the mound. Elias in his minor league career went 27 and 21. Checking in on the Angels again, hosting the Oakland A's. Second inning, 1-0 A's lead it. Breaking ball for a strike, and Texas trails by another run now. It's 7-1 Detroit in the top of the 7th. Elias with a nice pace gets Carter on the breaking ball. Second out, first strikeout for Elias. With 2 down and the base is empty, the only left-handed bat of the night in there, Jason Castro, stands in. Prince Fielder has homered in that Texas ball game. That's the only run of the night for Texas. Ball and a strike on Jason. Castro hitting .214 with 11 home runs. He's driven in 30. Tyler Collins with a home run for Detroit. James McCann, the catcher, drove in a pair with a base hit. J.D. Martinez drives in another run. He's had quite a year for the Tigers. Two and 2 the count.
It almost looks like Elias has gone to that Keuchel mentality with the curveball slider almost blending together to create a couple different breaks.
In the air down the left field side, long run for Smith to the line and across, and it drops foul. There's not quite enough speed in left field with Smith. Castro stays alive. It's a long way to go.
And especially off a left-handed bat, you know it's slicing away from him. It just feels like you're running for days and never get there.
That Angels game with Oakland. On the mound for the Angels, Hector Santiago. And for Oakland, Felix Dubron. Got him on the breaking ball. Second straight strikeout. 2 on the night. A 1-2-3 second inning. 2-1 Houston.
first at Houston. This home run right here broke up a 5-5 tie in the 8th inning off of Neshek, and then this one right here was just pouring salt into an open wound for the Houston Astros as the Seattle Mariners lit it up, and Logan Morrison was one of those guys leading the charge in back-to-back nights. He's hitting .336 with 24 runs scored, 10 doubles, 2 triples, 7 home runs, and 28 RBIs in his career against the Houston Astros.
A big assignment for Lance McCullers. Touched up for a run, a walk, and 2 hits in that first inning, despite striking out the side. Struck out Marte, the leadoff man, then Nelson Cruz and Seth Smith. Had a fastball that reached as high as 98 miles an hour in that inning. Mighty good stuff. There it is. 0-2 the count. Lance McCullers is one of 4 rookies in Astros history to pitch at least 100 innings and post an opponent's batting average of under .225. Colin McHugh was the last to do it, of course, last year. Colin McHugh has gone on. He's an 18-game winner now. Dallas Keuchel won his 19th of the year to lead the league. That came yesterday over the Texas Rangers. Dallas Keuchel 15-0 at home this year. Really amazing numbers. You consider he's 4-8 on the road. 2-2 the count.
Those are astonishing numbers.
15-0 in your home ballpark.
In Minute Maid Park,
yeah,
as your home park.
You know, Dallas made that point. A lot of people say that's a good offensive yard. And so it's kind of the go figure thing. Can't afford another walk. It's 3-2 to the leadoff man here in the second.
Really
it's
laboring to throw pitches is Lance McCullers too.
Logan Morrison, Brad Miller, and Jesus Sucre here in the inning. Lance is still the second youngest starting pitcher in the major leagues right now at the age of 21. Luis Severino of the Yankees, the only guy younger. McCullers is the first pitcher in Astros history to allow 3 earned runs or less in 18 of his first 20 starts on the year. His last 2 fastballs right on the hands.
Yeah, if you look at some of the pitches in the zone against Logan Morrison, they have been on that inner third trying to lock him up.
So that number I just mentioned, first pitcher in club history to allow 3 or less earned runs in 18 of his first 20 starts. Over the last 15 years, the only other American League pitcher that's done this, Cliff Lee, who was a pretty good pitcher himself. The tapper is handled by Carter, and he'll apply the tag for the out. And a hard-fought first out here in the second inning. This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson. Dallas Keuchel capped off a historic home season with yesterday's win over the Rangers, taking him to an MLB record 15-0 at Minute Maid Park this year. It's the best home season by a pitcher in history, or is it? That's the question.
Just amazing stuff. When you're the first at anything at the major league level, you're doing something extremely well, especially when you got these names lined up next to you.
You know what? If I've got the names Sandy Koufax and Nolan Ryan, you don't have to give me any more. Dean Chance was a guy who had a great career.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty amazing stats when you consider.
How about Dallas being the only guy out of the state of California to do it?
How about that ERA by Sandy Koufax in a season at home? 14 starts, 0.95 ERA.
How do you lose 2 games?
I don't know.
How do you lose 8 games with a 1.07 ERA?
That was a Dodgers club that the attack was pretty much infield singles and stolen bases.
So all their power was on the mound. They had a bunch of punch and Judys in the lineup.
They probably had their best power when Don Drysdale was pitching. Yeah. Brad Miller at the plate, former shortstop, now center fielder for Seattle. Ball and a strike on Miller, hitting .257. 10 home runs on his year. Yeah, so Dallas Keuchel finds himself amongst some really big names in the history of the game. Looper is going to drop foul down the left side. I guess the question for Dallas, well, a question, is how do you get that turned around on the road now, where he's 4-8 this year?
I'm sure he's been asking that question all year long. Because you do see flashes of it on the road every once in a while, but there have been a couple of blowouts in between there.
Thing is, a lot of times, in my opinion anyway, there really is no legitimate answer. Crazy game. Hit high in the air to left field. Marwin's right there. Plays left field like he's done it a lot.
Well, his bat is getting him more time all over the infield and outfield. Dallas Keuchel has a 3.82 on the road,
which is good, but rather pedestrian.
Well, how about that? Might explain the losses, because if you look at the Astros numbers on the road, obviously the huge deficiency on, well, not a huge deficiency, but a little more lackluster on the road. So
here's the strangest stat all year, maybe for the Astros. They've got the worst road record in the American League. They are 29-46 and have scored 7 more runs on the road than the opposition.
Yeah.
Now figure that one out.
Well, at home they're scoring 4.53 runs. On the road they're scoring 4.24. So it's not a. So what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is the pitchers have been even better than the futility, if you're going to put it that way, of the Astros.
No, that's exactly right.
They've scored 7 more runs than the opposition and yet have that record. Slowly hit, tough play for Correa, but he makes it. Spectacular fashion. Carlos Correa sprawled out in center field after making a great play. And that ends a 1-2-3 second inning. Watch this play.
City yard signs are still available at select Academy Sports and Outdoor stores, but they are going fast. Visit www.rootsports.com/yard signs for a list of participating locations before they run out. Look who has his sign. Look at Bill Brown. Cypress is ready.
I was just at Brownie's residence, Julia, and that's what it looks like. And you look around the neighborhood, and he's been passing them out, I think.
Was that the east wing of the house?
Yeah. I'm not sure which wing, but it's one of the many. Jake Marisnick leads off here in the third inning. 2-1 Houston. And Crush City coming to life here in Seattle tonight. Home runs by George Springer and Evan Gattis in the first inning. Not to mention the fact that Altuve hit one that I thought initially was hit well enough to maybe get out.
I thought it was too.
But Jake Marisnick had such a big hit yesterday, hitting .238 on the year. Astros were trailing early to Texas 1-0. It had that feel again, that oh no feel, and then Marisnick came up with a big 2-run single to put the Astros ahead. They would not relinquish that lead. And Dallas Keuchel made it stand. Marisnick draws the walk. Speed aboard to start things. And now the top of the order.
Lineup gets a second shot at it. Now they've got a runner on base.
Running game sees the Astros still leading in stolen bases in the league. 114 of them, but they've been thrown out 47 times. Jake Marisnick has played a big part in that stolen base game, stealing 22, caught just 8 times. Elias Aware.
It's kind of a unique situation having a guy like Jake at first base who can run and a left-handed pitcher up there. Yeah, he could steal a base, but at the same time, you've got Altuve at the plate who handles the bat pretty well. You put a speedy guy like Jake in motion on a hit and run, he's got a good chance to get a couple bags.
Snap throw down to first base. Sucre loves to throw. He's good at it. In fact, in the stolen base game, he's thrown out 50% on the season, 11 of 22.
See Jake at first anticipating the bunt with Altuve bunting through it. That's a tough part of base running.
Oh boy, man, when a guy is going to bunt and you're a base runner, you start extending it. It puts you in a very bad spot if the guy takes it or whiffs through it. Altuve, as we mentioned, hit it well to left field, flying out just to the wall. That as he led off in the first inning. That is just about as borderline as it gets from me with that right foot where it's landing. Don't know if you ever saw it, Blummer, but once upon a time in spring training they put down lines on the mound, 45-degree lines, and guys had to land on the first base side of the line.
Where's Bob Davidson's 45-degree line?
Oh, it's at about 12 degrees, I think.
He's just looking for it. That's good.
But yeah, this is close here with Elias. The thing is, once you let a guy have a certain mark, it's hard to start reining him in.
Yeah.
So you've got a very good throwing catcher in Sucre.
Ooh. And it's a deliberate motion going over to first base. He's aggressive with that leg kick, trying to deceive the runner.
The umpires tonight: Jordan Baker behind the plate, Paul Emmel, veteran, down at first base, Andy Fletcher at second. It's Jerry Meals, the crew chief, down at third. Fouled off by Altuve, hitting .314 with the 0-for-1 night. Miguel Cabrera leads in the American League at .337. Xander Bogaerts, and Jeff Blum and I talked about this guy when the Astros faced the Boston Red Sox. We loved him at the plate. He's second at .324, and then Jose Altuve. Michael Brantley is right behind. Tigers 7-2 now over the Texas Rangers, top of the 8th inning. Got him on the high breaking ball. Marisnick on the move, and he is gunned down. So Sucre with a good throw to get him, strike him out, throw him out, double play. And just like that, base is empty. 2 outs for George Springer.
taking your chances. But how about even the high off-speed pitch? It looked like Sucre double clutch and still got him.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. I think that's a pretty tough combination to run on right now with that kind of borderline move from Elias and then the strong throwing behind the plate Sucre. Springer with that bomb in the first inning, number 15 on his season.
That was a good one. Wow. Yeah, he is such a powerful young man. He can get that stroke going.
2-1 the count on George. Yeah, I always feel guilty to some degree kind of putting it on George, but he and Carlos Correa are those unique talents in my assessment, and those are the guys that lead you to championships.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, it's not about pressure. It's about the fact that he has that ability to go out there and do those kinds of things, and starting to get that swing to come back around since going on the DL with that broken bone in his hand. He's hungry for another home run.
Big swing dropping to a knee. It's 3-2. Justin Verlander no longer in there for the Detroit Tigers in Arlington. He worked 6 innings, allowed 6 hits and a run. Well, that's airing the place out pretty well.
Yeah, he went all Carlos Gomez on that one. How'd he keep his helmet on?
Almost Carlos Gomez, yeah. Got him on the breaking ball. So that'll do it. A couple of strikeouts. That's 4 on the night for Elias. But through 2.5 innings, Astros on top of the M's, 2-1. Worked 4 1/3, 1 earned run in that ball game. May to July, made 13 starts, ERA under the 250 mark. Opponent's batting average 207. Best start of the year came against Baltimore on June 3rd. 1 earning on a complete game, 11 strikeouts. Worst start, we've talked about it, against the Texas Rangers since August 23rd. The recall, 6 starts, ERA at 3.32, 37 strikeouts, 11 walks. Guys just simply got some great stuff.
Yeah, we talked about the mentality he brings to the ball game. He knows he's got good stuff. He wants the baseball. He's going to be aggressive on the mound, but I think the experience of calling him up early in the season is going to benefit him so much.
Brings the strike on the heater at 96. Top of the order with Ketel Marte. Young shortstop. He's played well, hitting .281. High fly ball into left center field. Marisnik is there. And out number 1. Well, what about the flip side? What about what Lance McCullers has brought to the Astros?
Well, we talk about George Springer's kind of spirit when he plays the game. I think Lance kind of brings that to the mound for this rotation a little bit. You've got Colin McHugh, bit of a professor type, goes about his business. Dallas Keuchel, they do show some fire, but this kid is electric from the moment he steps onto that rubber.
Good breaking ball for a strike on Kyle Seager. It's a different mentality that McCullers has than that of George Springer, but it lends to, I think, a feeling of confidence on a club. And then you see the stuff that he brings, and I don't care, young, old, or in between, when you've got this kind of stuff, it instills confidence in a team.
It's a good changeup at 90 miles an hour.
The Angels have caught the Oakland A's. They're tied at 1 now in the 3rd inning. Changeup. It was a hard changeup, but he gets some very weak swings.
Yeah, we talk about all the time. If you're sitting 96, 97 miles an hour and a guy pulls a string and takes 7 miles an hour off it, you're going to get those swings.
Two and two the count. Johnny Giovatella for the Angels with a double that plated a run to tie the ball game. So it's the Angels and Oakland A's 3rd inning, 1-1 tie. The Angels a half a game back of the Astros. Little Fister on the infield. Jed Lowry's going to have to make the play and gets it done. 5-3. Second out as it brings up Nelson Cruz.
Looking for the perfect location for your special event? Minute Maid Park provides elegant event spaces and high-end entertainment in one of Houston's most iconic sporting venues. Learn more about how you can have your special event at Minute Maid Park by calling 713-259-8800 or by visiting astros.com/special events.
So let's check back in on that Angels game. That was actually a 2-run double by Giovatella. So the Angels on top 2-1 in the 3rd inning. Apparently that second run scored so slowly that the scoreboard couldn't get it taken care of.
Did you just say Albert scored the second run?
I did not. That was you that made that comment.
I think you were implying.
Could be the case, but I'm not going to fess up.
That's that years of experience in the booth. You're able to disguise it.
You've seen him run.
For a long time.
Ball and a strike. 3-hitter Nelson Cruz. Strikeout victim in the 1st inning when Lance McCullers struck out 3. But Seattle able to put a run on the board in that frame. Major League leader in home runs, tied with Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles at 43. Who's going to win that home run race this year?
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis is pretty tough. Stays at 1-2. And then you keep in mind those two guys were teammates a year ago. Josh Donaldson at 41. Is he still your MVP?
Yeah. I have to pick somebody. Yeah, he's doing pretty well.
You're good with that one. You know, Mike Trout is out warring him right now. I know we all live and die with the war. Pitch is fouled back. But the RBIs, Donaldson at 122 leading the league. That's pretty tough to ignore. 41 home runs.
Are you in the camp that has all those RBIs because he's had more opportunities?
Well, that's part of it. We talk more about that. Another strikeout, second on the night for Cruz, 4 for Lance McCullers. 2-1 Houston. done it before. Let's take a look at some of what Carlos has turned in.
This one started it off for me. Pretty iconic jump catch right there on the Zunino line drive here at Safeco Field. But that's when we really started to notice what was going on. Sucre with a slow roller up the middle. How about Carlos Correa not giving up on this play? Understanding who's running the bases, continues to play, finishes a play, spin move, and a strike to first.
Wow.
Yeah, he's good.
So Carlos Correa leads it off and takes the strike.
Tell you what, Elias is going to that off-speed pitches against these hard-hitting Houston Astros here. Second go-around.
A couple of launch jobs in the first inning will kind of change your game plan right away.
Yeah. Pitch a little bit more backwards.
Can't tell you how many times I was part of a game plan where it was the old standard. Go out and challenge them, throw some fastballs, establish the strike zone early, and then you quickly change. Tough play. Robinson Cano has never seen a tough play. That's out number one. And we check in with Julia.
Thank you very much, Ash. Evan Gattis coming up to the plate, who homered in his first at bat tonight, a 2-out home run to give the Astros a 2-0 lead in the first. 5 homers for him in the last 16 games. But he's our Geico quote of the day, talking about this playoff push and how these guys are feeling. He said it's what you live for. It's awesome. It's unbelievable. Hey, we can do this. We're a good team. We've been beating people all year. So no confidence lost when it comes to Evan Gattis. You hope he's sharing that message. That hot bat. What are they going to do with him come interleague play, guys?
Makes it tough, doesn't it? Yeah, you get that it's DH on the home games, but
yeah, but you got to finish your American League season on the road in the National League.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
What do you do if you've got your home run leader and your RBI leader as your DH? Do you try to insert him defensively?
Well,
look at what
the obvious for me is, if you know, can you put him at first base?
We've seen him in left field. I don't know that that's the best option for the team.
Well, and you're going to Arizona, where you've got a pretty cavernous outfield too.
Can you play him in the pool in right center?
Oh yeah, polar bears love that stuff.
Okay, so I've got Albert Pujols coming after me now, and you've got the lumberjack. Three and two the count. We're in the fourth inning. 2-1 Astros. Very close. Certainly could have been called. Hammered to left field. Back at the track. Smith is there and makes the catch. Powering drive, just getting under it. So Gattis flies out. Second out here in the fourth inning. Brings up 5-hitter Jed Lowry.
That was well struck. We talk about how some guys can just miss one, foul it back, but this ball was just missed by Evan Gattis. Just a click too quick.
You know it very well. You get that ball right on the screws, but you get under it by, some fraction. Line drive into center field. Jed Lowry has a 2-out single. First hit since this first inning for the Astros, and the first hit that was not a home run. Lowry aboard as Marwin Gonzalez comes to the plate. Marwin tried to get in the home run act in the second inning. He eventually lined out deep to center field. Took a nice play by Miller to get him. But before that happened, Marwin hit one at the foul pole down the left field side. No doubt about it if it stayed fair. And it wound up hooking just foul. Jed Lowry
needs his oven. He's got some brownies in the oven.
Okay, now isn't that something the first base coach takes out?
Or are you keeping your back pocket?
Yeah, you find a way. Marwin 0 for 1 on his night. Hitting .274. Let's watch that swing by Jed Lowry.
Fights that one off. Good job of staying through it. You know, when you stay inside a ball good, you kind of see it give that little tail to it like you just saw.
kind of cut across it like that tee shot right down the middle that you're accustomed to.
Yep. If you're playing on the other fairway.
Marwin has 11 home runs on his year. The Astros have maybe been taught a lesson already. The running game is going to be tough against the pair right now, Elias and Sucre. Ground ball hit back of the bag at third. Long throw. And able to get him is Seager. That'll do it. A hit by Lowry. He's stranded. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. A 2-1 Houston lead.
Come celebrate your birthday the Astros way. Surround yourself with the excitement of cheering on the Houston Astros while throwing a birthday party at Minute Maid Park. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 713-259-8996. Ash.
Thank you, Julia. By the way, we were talking about interleague play, and what do you do with Evan Gattis, who leads the team in home runs and RBIs, when you can't use the DH? Gene Diaz lets us know, for what it's worth, the Astros are a major league best 14-3 in interleague games this year, 6-1 in interleague road games. So
I think Gene's petitioning to have Evan out of the lineup.
So you're gonna leave it to Gene to tell the Lumberjack he's not in there on a given night, huh?
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, you heard it, Gene, right here. 2-1 Astros.
You'd have to look up and see how many games Evan was able to play on the road in those National League stadiums. That's a lot of in-depth analysis I can't go through right now, I don't think.
But you've got it in front of you. If you just had the time, you'd drop it out here, right?
Yeah, I would, but I'm going to save that little nugget for later when Gene texts me back and tells me.
Okay, look, you got to see as Robinson Cano leads, and the Athletics have now caught the Angels at 2 in the fourth inning. So we love ourselves some Oakland Athletics and Detroit Tigers right about now.
Go Elephants.
Why is the elephant on the uniform patch?
They're athletic.
I see.
You've seen them at the circus, haven't you?
That's how you analyze games. Yeah, really? Okay. Yeah, that's been a long time question of mine, and when you give me a good answer, I'll. I
wonder if Google has an answer for that.
Line drive going to drop in left field. Robinson Cano 2 for 2 on the night. Again, he's hitting 11 straight as he gets on down to first base. Here to bring up Mark Trumbo, and the Astros fans are representing well here at Safeco Field in Seattle, and they're eating pretty well too.
It's good to see. Isn't this where we normally see the Ashby jersey show up?
It does show up here, yeah. But it's 10 rows behind the Blum jersey.
Yeah.
Nobody out. Mark Trumbo at the plate. Trumbo had the RBI single that came in the first inning. Trumbo's driven in 41. Okay, I was about to say You got to see the Texas Rangers at times over the past couple of weeks utilizing Mike Napoli in left field. Because they want his bat in a game early, but defensively, I don't know. It's such a risk, and it hurt them against the Astros, even though they were able to win a ball game in Arlington.
I'm taking Evan Gattis over Napoli in the outfield.
Defensively, sure, yeah, from what we've seen. But is it one of those risks you're willing to take in a ball game where you can't afford to give up an unearned run?
That's the problem, because a lot of the defense has been contributing to how good those pitching numbers are.
The Astros, by the way, leading the American League in team ERA. And that's really such a huge part of why the Astros are where they stand right now. And still in their minds a chance to catch the Texas Rangers. The Astros are second in the wild card, but only a half game up on the Angels, who are tied 2-2 with the Oakland A's. Marcus Semien has homered. That's the one that ties the game for Oakland. Good breaking ball, got him. So Trumbo drove in a run with a base in the first inning. Strikes out number 5 on the night for McCullers. First down in the 4th.
Good job of Lance setting this pitch up against Trumbo. Not to mention the location was absolutely perfect.
One out for Seth Smith. Strikeout victim in the first inning.
Getting some tweets about that white elephant for the Oakland Athletics.
Are you getting any answers?
Believe it or not, I was wrong. The athleticism of an elephant was not the reason why. But John McGraw referenced the Oakland team as the white elephants as an insult. So Connie Mack adopted that as the logo.
That's not what amazes me. It's the part about you being wrong that amazes me.
True. I agree, and I appreciate you saying that, but I think you're really trying to drive home the fact I was wrong.
Ball in the strike. I don't drive home points like that at all.
Sure you do.
On most nights. Okay, on some nights. Shift on for the Astros. A breaking ball freezing the bat of Smith. Change up.
He throws that thing at 88, 90 miles an hour. He's actually showed some pretty good command of that pitch. Keeping it down in the zone, not letting it flutter up out over the plate. Like to keep it that way.
The only walk for McCullers came back in the first inning to Kyle Seager, and he came around and scored the only run for the Mariners. One and two the count. Seattle 11th in attendance around the American League. They're over the 2 million mark. Hit Altuve to Correa and back to first, and they get the double play. First on the night for Houston, and that gets McCullers and company out of the 4th inning. Single by Cano, he's erased. It's 2-1 Houston through 4. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Pretty nice sights here in the Emerald City.
It's not too bad right there.
What year was the Space Needle used? What year was that?
Let me look it up. 1962.
Wow. Back when do they still have World's Fairs? I don't think they do they?
Not sure.
I got a lot of questions for you tonight.
Yeah, I'm completely unprepared. I'm going to say no.
So we've learned that you can be wrong and that you're ill-prepared. So.
Well, I know the Montreal Expos were named after that World Exposition up there in Montreal.
That's true. Toronto Blue Jays played initially at the Exhibition Stadium in Toronto.
Now 1 for 12 tonight on facts.
Not so, as the Astros bat here in the 5th inning, leading it 2-1, bottom 3 in the order. Chris Carter, Jason Castro, and Jake Marisnick. And a 2-1 count on Carter. The Astros struck early and with a vengeance in the 1st inning. 1-out solo home run by George Springer, his 15th. And out later, Evan Gattis launched one, his 27th. The Astros took a 2-0 lead. Seattle picked up a run in the 1st inning despite striking out 3 times in that inning. They got a walk and 2 hits. McCullers has shut him down since, picking up 1 double play that came in the 4th. McCullers with 5 strikeouts on his night. Roenis Elias has 4. And a leadoff walk to Carter. And you can see with the pitch choices right now for Elias that he might be a bit timid about the fastball.
Maybe not feeling that fastball location. I've seen him try to get inside on a couple guys, but I believe Gattis may have gotten a changeup. But it's definitely changed from getting ahead with the heater to getting ahead and trying to put guys away in hitters' counts with the off speed.
Castro struck out to end the 2nd inning. Three hits for each club. Home runs do pay off. These Mariners come into play tonight having lost 5 straight. Astros shows bunt and takes a strike. Frustrating when the bunt is on and a hitter pulls the bat back and takes a strike. And now with 2 strikes, pretty much left without that option anymore.
Yeah, it's tough for everybody, even the hitter. Not only you're not getting your job done, you're in a hole now.
I tell you, on the managing side, makes you crazy because you're trying to concede that out to go ahead and move a man, and eventually you can't even play it that way.
And not one of the easier things to do in all of baseball.
You're right.
Castro's not one of those guys that's normally called upon to bunt, especially left on left. Got sliders running away from you, 94-mile-an-hour fastballs. But it's still one of those, the expectation is to get the job done. And then you add a pennant race on top of it, and it makes it that much more.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I also think a lot of people believe the bunt is a very simple chore. As Castro strikes out. 2nd time for Jason tonight. That's 5 for Elias. 1 out as Jake Marisnick comes to the plate.
That's some pretty good ABs against Elias. That ball is absolutely annihilated. Line drive into those Crawford boxes. First pitch was a fastball. That one right there, a slider down and in. Jake gets the head out, hammers it. So some good memories for Jake Marisnick against Elias. He'd like to pop that one and get into those double digits and add his name to a historical list for the Houston Astros as far as home runs.
Maybe become the 12th man on the club to get to double digits in terms of the long ball. Chops it foul. Good aggressive swing by Jake.
Be interesting to see how Astro hitters adjust to Elias not wanting to go to that fastball more often. Elias is trying to throw those off-speed pitches to slow their bats down a little bit, maybe to set up the fastball.
Ball and a strike. Elias throwing hard at 92. Take a look around the entire scoreboard now. The Boston Red Sox defeat the Yankees. And again, it's the Yankees leading in the wild card hunt. They're the #1 team at the start of play tonight. Jake pops it foul on the right side, back to the seats. "5-1 Red Sox win it. Cardinals shut out Pittsburgh. The Pirates have been making a charge trying to win that division. A lot of people think the Pirates might be the best team in the National League. Cardinals win it 3-0.
There are some scary teams in that National League side as far as playoffs are concerned, because that National League Central is pumping out 3 good teams.
On the fist, little fly ball to center field. Miller comes on to make the play. 2 outs here in the inning. And back to the leadoff man, Jose Altuve. Yeah, you're right. Whether you say Cardinals, Pirates, or Cubs, who do you want to face?
Those Cubs frighten me. Arrieta, pitching great. There's good pitching on both those teams.
Yeah, you mentioned Arrieta. Who's the National League Cy Young Award winner now?
Man. That late push by Arrieta might give it to him.
He's going to be tough to deny. And I think he's picking up some of the voters. Zach Greinke still leads the league in ERA at an amazing 165. Jake Arrieta, though, is at 182.
I was going to say, there's not a big enough difference there for me to really. I mean, those are incredibly low ERAs, but what Arrieta's done lately is it's been pretty impressive to me.
And if you haven't followed real closely, Arrieta has not only the only 20-win season in the major leagues, he's won 21 for the Cubs. Madison Bumgarner is 118 for the Giants. Zach Greinke 18 with that great ERA we talked about. But I have a feeling that Jake Arrieta is going to win that thing. Altuve continues to battle with an 0-2 count.
Arrieta, a high strikeout guy also.
Dallas Keuchel, with yesterday's performance against the Texas Rangers, is now 0.02 of a point behind David Price for the leadership in ERA in the American League. There's your update. The Angels have retaken the lead over the Athletics. They're in the 5th inning. 3-2 Angels. Hit in the air to right field. Toward the line to make the play is Trumbo, and that'll do it. Astros leave a man on that leadoff walk to Carter. Through 4.5, 2-1 Houston.
sale now. Guarantee your seats for a potential 2015 postseason run by reserving your 2016 season tickets today. Visit Astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Lance McCullers back to work, also known as Batwoman, as of last night. He has really impressed the pitching coach Brent Strom lately just by the way he's been so consistent with his demeanor on the mound. And this is a guy we talked about earlier in the season who got really amped up in first innings, had to take a moment to breathe, take a breath, calm down a little bit. But the fact that he's been really impressing the staff just shows how much he's matured over the season. And the games don't get any bigger than this for the 21-year-old. Ash?
Not right now, Julia, and you're dead right. And your comments there are exactly what I think the two of us in the booth feel. If, and I'll just pose it to you, Plummer, if the Astros were today in the postseason, is Lance McCullers in your likely three-man rotation?
Hands down.
And I'm with you.
And I mean, I understand that the Astros did trade for Scott Kazmir to be a part of that. But if I'm going into a three-game series, I've got Keuchel, McHugh, and McCullers.
Hop on the left side. It's Jed Lowry calling. He'll make the catch out number one as Morrison pops out. Lance McCullers last time out.
So he threw 111 pitches at home against those Los Angeles Angels. Took the loss, but I like the numbers that he has going across there. 3 of those earned runs, but no walks, 9 punch-outs. There was a little bit of aggression, some chirping coming from that Angels dugout. A lot of fun to watch the fire from that young man. They were getting on him early, and he answered, I thought, pretty well.
You know what? I never saw him say a word toward that opposition dugout. He glanced over. He heard it. But he responded with his pitching. And awfully mature for anybody. Good looking breaking ball. It's a ball and a strike. Brad Miller, the 8-hitter at the plate. That Detroit-Texas game still going on. It's 7-2 Tigers lead. Bases loaded in the 9th inning.
He just refused to go away.
And again, that game is in Arlington. But take heart. Texas Rangers have actually been a better road club this year than they've been at home. 9 games over 500 on the road and 6 games under at home. Now let's try that again. The numbers are so faint here. 39 and 35. They're 4 games over at home. Nonetheless, a better road team than they've been at home. Another good breaking ball and a strikeout. Number 6 for McCullers. 2 down here in the 5th inning. This guy is money for me.
I mean, for me, just watching him in this ball game right here, I'm not sure what's going on or if he's been working on things. But the 9 punch-outs last start, no walks. The command is obviously better, but the off-speed pitches for me.
Yeah.
Good hammers down in the zone, but the changeups he's been throwing this game have been fantastic.
You know, in the first inning, we saw fastballs between 95 and 98. One of them got hit hard for a base hit. But it's the same story from the last time out that you referred to, when he quickly adjusted and that breaking ball became the pitch he would throw behind in the count and to get big outs. There it is again, chopper to third. Lowry with the play, a 1-2-3 5th inning. So Lance McCullers through 5 has the Astros on top. It's 2-1.
Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Visit MLB.TV today.
By the way, now let's take a look. The Tigers, it's now 7-4. Man, those Rangers will just not lay down. Bottom of the 9th inning. I am told via Twitter, Juki HC, I don't know how to pronounce that any other way, says the World's Fair is in Milan right now as George Springer's hit by a pitch to start the inning. So you've got some speed aboard here in the 6th inning. Running game is tough, but it brings up Carlos Correa.
Trying to take advantage of those leadoff guys getting on. Thankfully, just a glancing blow.
George Springer, that first inning home run. Evan Gattis added one of his own. And those are the 2 Houston runs. It has been tough. 3 hits aside. Carlos Correa does not have one of those hits. He's 0 for 2. Grounding out twice. By the way, with the Yankees losing to the Red Sox tonight, the Yankees, who are again that #1 wild card for the moment in the American League, have a 4-game lead over the Astros. So that's actually larger than where the Astros are trailing the Texas Rangers by. Those Rangers just won't give us a chance to give a final. Two 2-0 the count on Correa. Evan Gattis and Jed Lowry to follow. And now 3-0. The Astros will be glad to take the freebies right about now.
Force Elias to throw that fastball in the strike zone. Green light him.
Angels lead it 3-2 over Oakland. That's in the 5th inning. There's your 3-1, and yeah, Carlos Correa may have gotten the green light there and chosen not to swing it. Never know.
Well, again, it's got to be a perfect pitch in that 3-0 count, because you know he's going to come back with that fastball on 3-1 count, or at least you assume he would.
And now 3-2. It was always a hard thing for me. Somebody would say, well, if we give you the green light, make sure it's a perfect pitch. It's such a reaction there at the plate, and afterthought you could say, boy, I swung at a pitch that maybe I shouldn't have, or vice versa. But in my opinion, only the really good ones can lay off the imperfect pitch that's in the strike zone.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I was guessing and I guessed right and I saw that fastball out of the hand, it didn't matter where it was, I was going to give it a hack.
Amen. It is a final now. Tigers win it 7-4. By the way, Prince Fielder did have a base hit with the bases loaded, plating a pair. That's how the Rangers scored runs 3 and 4. Line shot, and it turns into a double play. And the only reason it turns into a double play is that Morrison was holding at the bag and able to go down and haul it in and then simply step on the bag. Wow, and that's easily a double and maybe more down the line.
I think that ball caught Logan. That ball was annihilated. That happened extremely quick, but you couldn't have picked a worse location to hit that ball. Get a good look at it.
Evan Gattis 1 for 2 with that first inning home run, his 27th. 87 RBIs for the Lumberjack. Yeah, look at that. How many guys, how many right-hand hitters can hit a ball that sharply on the first base side? Then you sit there on the bench and you watch other guys hit infield dribblers and little broken bat bleeders all over the place.
And the biggest fallacy in baseball is that it all evens out.
Ha! Doesn't that one hurt when you hear it?
Oh.
1-2 now as Gaddis lays off.
The only guys that believe that are pitchers.
Well, it doesn't even out for the pitchers. They don't
no, they're
believe
saying
that.
I'm
I
saying
know,
in
terms of the hitting.
In terms of hitters, give me a break. Set a group of guys who are career like $1 hitters.
Two-hopper to short. Marte with the play. Throws it in the dirt, dug out nicely by Morrison. That'll do it. Huge double play on the line drive hit by Correa. Lance McCullers just keeps on dealing as the Astros lead it.
Come in. Rangers lose that ball game. Some of those leads. Keep an eye on that wild card. And like you said, Ash, I know that the Astros are looking at that wild card just to get into the playoffs, but I'm with you. I think they need to take a peek at those Rangers and try and overtake that West and avoid that wild card matchup to get into the playoffs.
Hey, that's a better shot. If the Astros win tonight, they're still going to be 3.5 back of the Yankees, but they'll be a game and a half back of Texas. Texas has one more game to play than the Astros. That's this Thursday. Yeah, I mean, you take that game and a half back right now and pick up a win in game one of this road trip. And can that kind of change all of that mojo that's been negative on the road?
But I think going back to that homestand, taking those last two games of that series are a huge momentum shifter maybe.
Yeah. I agree with that. Losing game one to the Rangers felt like, oh no, what is happening here? But coming back and battling to win those final two games with Texas, really big. And winding up with a 5-4 homestand. That's not one of the Astros' great homestands, but you know, you're playing the Angels and the Rangers in that stand, and ultimately not a bad stand. 3-1 on the leadoff man, Ketel Marte, who hits it in the air and deep to right field, and this one's getting out of here. That's a long home run for the leadoff man of the Seattle Mariners, and they've caught the Astros at 2 here in the 6th. For Marte, just his second home run.
That heater trying to get in the kitchen of Marte. In off the plate. Marte does a good job of bringing those hands in, getting the barrel to it quickly, and launched it.
Yeah, there goes the lead that quickly. Fall behind and get in that fastball count, and Marte slams it.
you get the barrel on 95 plus miles an hour, that's what happens.
It quickens up your bat, is what it does. In my opinion, you get a guy throwing that hard, and you have to swing hard just to get to it.
Yeah, but I think that's the verbiage that's used in the clubhouse is don't swing harder, swing quicker to get to those pitches.
Jason Castro got some dirt in the eyes. Seattle now leading in hits 4-3. That's their first long ball of the night. Justin Verlander picked up the win, his 5th on the year against 8 losses in that Tiger victory over Texas. Colby Lewis took the loss. He's 17-9 with a 4.5 ERA. 17 wins. Seager shows bunt. The Oakland A's have come paddling back. Fighting A's have tied the Angels at 3. That's in the 6th inning. Giants lead over the Dodgers 2-1 in the 6th. It's all about the Dodgers in that division, though. Kansas City beaten by the Chicago Cubs 1-0.
Are you foreshadowing it all right there?
Well, possibly. One hopper diving stop. Carter feeds on to McCullers, and a heck of a play for out number 1 here in the 6th inning.
It's a heck of a play. Breaking ball up out of the plate. Seager smoked it. Big man is there to lay out and clog that hole.
No, it's also easy on a ball hit this sharply for a pitcher to just stay on the mound until it's too late. But McCullers hustling all the way. Nelson Cruz at the plate. American League leader in long balls. Has struck out twice against McCullers. And Lance with 6 strikeouts on the night. There's that changeup again.
Throwing that to Nelson Cruz a couple times now.
You've talked about it tonight, and when he has that pitch, that really changes the game, I think, for Lance or for any pitcher. There's that 3-3 tie. Athletics catching the Angels in the 6th inning. Back to the changeup. Chad Qualls now starts to get loose for the Astros in their pen. Seattle has a right-hander loosening in their pen as well. 93 pitches now for Lance, so he's nearing the end of his night. Love to see him get a shot at the 7th. Oakland caught the Angels on a sac fly by Jake Smolinski. Danny Farquhar, that right-hander loosening for Seattle. Guy that has spent some time back in the minor leagues for Seattle this year. '97 slips on by Nelson Cruz. 3rd time tonight that Cruz has gone down on strikes.
Pretty impressive stuff, but we talked about how he's that changeup extremely well, and you look at the location on that pitch to a guy like Nelson Cruz, it gives you an idea of the velocity Lance McCullers is working with.
You know, I think the changeup, in my mind anyway, does more to make the fastball tougher than the breaking ball does for the fastball.
Yeah, that was the equalizer for me. You know, I had a chance to hit fastballs pretty well. The off speed, being able to be a switch hitter and have some of those pitches come back to you helps. Toughest pitch for me to try and square up.
Cano has hit safely in 11 straight with his 2 hits tonight. Slams one on a line, and a nice play by George Springer. That ball was hit about as hard as you can hit one, and Cano is now 2 for 3. McCullers allows the tying home run in the 6th.
Time now for our AT&T call to the bullpen for the Seattle Mariners. In relief of Roenis Elias is going to be Danny Farquhar, making his 41st appearance. He was a big part of that bullpen last year, and as Ash pointed out last inning while Farquhar was warming up, he had gone down to the minor leagues, work on things. Now he's back. Giving up 7 bombs in 46 innings. See that ERA just under 5.
28 years of age, born in Florida. Attended the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Now in his 4th year in the major leagues. He's had some pretty good success. ERA at 3.86. He's allowed less hits than innings pitched, 153 in 174 innings. So Elias has nothing to do with the outcome of the game. He leaves in a 2-2 tie here, top of the 7th inning. Jed Lowry, the 5-hitter, leads it off, 1 for 2 on his night. Be followed by Marwin Gonzalez and Chris Carter. .92 miles an hour on that first heater. The Yankees have been beaten. The Astros 4 back for that first wild card spot. But more importantly, the Texas Rangers defeated by Detroit. And the Astros presently 2 games back of Texas, trying to get to a game and a half. They need a victory tonight to make that happen. Tomorrow night, same start time here, 9:10, and that's the case for the Wednesday game as well. Mike Fiers goes tomorrow against Vidal Nuno, and then it's Scott Kazmir against a pitcher yet to be named by Seattle in that Wednesday game. The attendance tonight listed at 13,935. backhanded by Cano. And the first out of the inning. And now Luis Valbuena grabs a bat. He will pinch hit for Marwin Gonzalez, who continues to be able to swing it well from the right side. But that wrist and thumb kind of combination bothering him from the left. So the Astros with their first pinch hitter of the night. .23 home runs on the year for Valbuena.
6 bombs against the Mariners. 3 of them here for Valbuena.
And Farquhar has been inclined to give up the long ball. He's allowed 7 in 46 innings. Yankees lose 5-1. Rangers lose 7-4. Angels hosting the Oakland A's tied at 3. They're in the 6th inning. Two and 1 the count to Valbuena. That batting average for Luis just at .212 on the season. And now 3 and 1.
Good take. Sometimes you come off the bench, you want to be aggressive, and Valbuena, knowing his history here, probably wanted to launch, but did a good job of laying off that pitch. Now he's in an even better count.
Has a 3-2 count.
I don't know if that was anywhere near the strike zone.
What are we doing here?
There's no reason to expand the zone in a 3-1 count right there.
Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire, disagrees.
Well, he's got the ultimate call.
And the end result is a fly ball to center field. Pushes Miller back, and he makes the play just shy of the warning track. 2 down in the 7th inning as Chris Carter comes to the plate. The Astros took the 2-0 lead in the 1st inning on home runs by Springer and Gaddis. Seattle responded with a run in that 1st inning. RBI single by Trumbo. And then a solo home run leading off the 6th inning by Ketel Marte, his 2nd major league home run. Hammered to left field, back at the wall. See ya! Chris Carter gets a breaking ball on the first pitch and puts the Astros back on top 3-2 for Chris Carter. That is home run number 23. And that history of his here in Seattle pays some huge dividends.
My goodness. Breaking ball backs up right into the barrel of Chris Carter, and there's not much thought going through Chris's head when this pitch is released. That is just instinct for a guy that size. Drop the barrel on it and drive it well into the night here in Seattle. He's trying to put that one out there Quest Field.
Seahawks may not like that, but
man,
nothing they can do about it.
Somebody's gonna have to pick that up off the turf out there.
You know, it's been a tough year for Chris Carter, but 23 home runs as we're now in the final week of the season.
How about when he's hitting these home runs now too?
That's a very good point.
Timing is everything.
The Oakland A's have taken the lead over the Angels 4-3. Castro down on strikes. 3rd time for Jason tonight. That'll do it in the 7th inning. But Chris Carter unloads his 23rd of the year, and the Astros take the 3-2 lead.
Register now for the opportunity to purchase tickets to potential 2015 Astros postseason games at Minute Maid Park. You won't want to miss the excitement of October baseball. Sign up at astros.com/postseason tickets. Carlos Gomez making an appearance out in center field. George Springer was looking around for his glove, worried that his hand was going to be hurting after playing catch with Carlos Gomez, because this guy is a caged animal, is what A.J. Hinch called him, just dying to get back on the field. He did take BP today early, trying to test out that intercostal. Didn't go as planned. He was hoping for a little bit better, had some discomfort, wasn't able to finish the way he wanted to, but it is getting a little better. You have to remember the injury that he has usually takes up to around 60 days to heal at times, and he's trying to come back after just 2 weeks, but his energy much needed on this Astros team and on the field, guys.
Thank you, Julia. So you saw the changes. Marisnick moves to left, Gomez in center, Valbuena is the first baseman, as the Astros have the lead again, 3-2, and Lance McCullers comes out for the 7th. Faces the 5, 6, 7 spots. Mark Trumbo leads it off. Trumbo has driven in one of the runs tonight, that back in the first inning with a base hit. When you remember, with Carlos Gomez coming on as that pinch runner yesterday, stole second and then scored on a pass ball, a very close play at home plate. And the way he had to go through all of that, hard to imagine that he wouldn't have hurt himself further. So you hope that Carlos is ready to go. Boy, that's filthy. Trumbo, Smith, and Morrison due up here in the inning.
Location's ridiculous. Overthrew that changeup.
So no sooner do the Oakland A's take the lead on the LA Angels than the Angels come right back and tie it at 4.
Jerks.
Albert Pujols, angered by Jeff Blum's comments earlier in the evening, has homered.
Well, he doesn't have to sprint on those.
It went to left center field in Anaheim.
I'd even take you in that race.
And now 3-2 the count as the fastball gets away from McCullers. Tony Sipp is throwing in the Astros pen. And we may see Sipp come on one way or another with the left-handed bats of Smith and Morrison due up. Breaking ball stays high, and McCullers walks the leadoff man in the 7th inning. A.J. Hinch coming out. And now points to the pen, so that's going to do it for McCullers. He will leave with a man on and nobody out. And McCullers not at all happy with himself. But he pitched very well on the night. He'll leave with a chance to be the winning pitcher tonight. That's going to be in the hands now of that Houston Astros bullpen. We'll be right back here in the 7th. Lance McCullers tonight, Blummer. You just have to say the kid is everything you want in big games.
Well, he actually did a great job of keeping himself under control. We didn't see him get too excited out there. Did a good job. Made pitches when he had to. I know coming out of this game after that walk to Trumbo was disappointing to him, but I thought he pitched extremely well. Showed 3 legitimate big league pitches to get Mariners hitters out. Good job locating that fastball. Wasn't rushing towards home plate. Under control with that delivery. Saw some good snap on some sharp breaking balls, but that changeup tonight was awesome.
Seattle now with a pinch runner, James Jones, nobody out. Tony Sipp on to work at his 58th appearance of the year. It's on to face the left-handed bats. Right-hand hitters have actually had the tougher time against Sipp. Jones has stolen 1 base in 1 try for the M's. Held on by Valbuena, big lead. And might have been going.
Sipp doesn't have the greatest move. It's still left-handed. So that's going to cause a little hesitation for Jones at first base, maybe giving Castro a chance to pop out of there and make a good, strong throw.
And we know that Castro has thrown the ball very well this year. Caught 36% of would-be base thieves on the season. League average at 31%, so Castro well above that figure. All you can do is hang on and watch now.
Thought it was a good move for AJ to let the kid go out there and try it.
And moving early was Jones. He's picked off. Valbuena will apply the tag, and that's a big out, number 1. So Tony Sipp able to throw over at the right moment. A caught stealing of the pinch runner, James Jones.
And that was a quick move to first. He didn't have to show any kind of move. Talked about the anticipation. Watch the runner leaning. If there would have been a higher leg kick, might have had a chance to get back. Valbuena does a good job of holding it on and chasing him down. Sometimes when you don't have that good move as a left-handed pitcher, if you vary the speed at which, or the quickness at which you go to first base, you can get those guys.
So 1 out on the board. 7th inning. Astros trying to make that home run by Chris Carter stand up. They've hit 3 solo home runs tonight. Breaking ball 0-2 the count. And now the numbers are all official on Lance McCullers. Got him looking. Perfectly spotted slider from Sipp, and the 2nd out of the inning. That's 8 strikeouts of Seattle hitters. 2 outs for Logan Morrison.
Yeah, that's just a money pitch. Might have been a little bit off that outside corner, but just the location, a good break on it. Gets that call. Jordan Baker, we've seen him expand that outside corner. But Sipp doing a good job of locating.
Logan Morrison 0 for 2 on his night. Seattle has right-hander Tony Zick loosening in their pen. Well, that pickoff of Jones, you just can't really overestimate how big that is for the club.
Especially with this guy at the plate, his history against the Houston Astros.
And a 1-2 count with that fastball at 92. Induced the big swing.
Some of these pitches, it looks like that little mini dead arm phase for Tony Sipp is gone, which could be great news for that Astros bullpen. Saw that velocity drop down to around 89 miles an hour for Tony Sipp when he was getting hit around a little bit. But now with that good slider and throwing 92-mile-an-hour fastballs, that's a good combo.
That starts. They appeal and palms down at third base. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, did not see a swing.
Good slider. Man,
what do you think?
That was borderline, but I think if I'm standing out there, I'm calling it.
The bat came right to the front edge of the plate. Second year for Tony Sipp with the Astros. He's put up good numbers each one of his seasons. Just away. Brad Miller, another left-handed hitter waiting on deck.
Trying to get Logan Morrison to chase on that 2-2 count.
The ERA for Tony Sipp actually considerably better this year than last year. And last year was quite a season. He allowed just 28 hits in 50 2/3 innings. Half swing going through this time. Morrison down on strikes. Sipp comes on, catches a runner trying to steal, and then strikes out Smith and Morrison. We're through 7. Astros lead it 3-2.
Hoping to hold on to that, get a win in the first game of this road trip where they've had so many struggles here recently on the road, and they've been asked about it many times. And A.J. Hinch asked about it again today, saying that the mentality of these guys, he doesn't think it. They do get asked about it a lot, but it doesn't change the mentality. It doesn't change the psyche. He doesn't think that these guys are thinking about past road trips anymore because of the importance of each of these games, these last 6 games of the regular season. So all of that in the past, these guys are moving on. They know they've played well here before. They're obviously holding the lead as of now. So hopefully using that confidence as they move forward on this last road trip, guys.
Thanks, Julia. And they have certainly swung the long ball bats tonight. Left-hander, or make that right-hander. Tony Zick now comes on to work it here in the 8th inning.
Making his 11th appearance. Come at you with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, slider. Mix in a changeup. He throws his changeup pretty hard also. 91 miles an hour, the average velocity on that.
So that filth you're talking about explains 14 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings. Faces Jake Marisnick to lead it off. Drops a bunt in front of the plate. Sucre with the play and gets Marisnick. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 8th. Some changes. James Jones came on as the pinch runner. He's now the center fielder. And Brad Miller, who was in center, is now in right in place of Mark Trumbo. Top of the order, Jose Altuve, 0 for 3 on the night. One of those a strikeout into a double play that came in the 3rd inning. Slammed one in the 1st inning. Looked like it might get out of here, but a deep fly out to Smith in left field. A 1-1 count here in the 8th.
Good grief. Did you see Sucre trying to get his resume taped for Aaron Brothers right there? That frame job?
For Aaron Brothers, huh?
Yeah, jeez. He's pulling strikes into the strike zone.
Pulling strikes are, right down to the knees, like, okay, that was really better than the center cut location.
A little aggressive with the frames.
Talking to umpires through the years, umpires don't like guys pulling pitches, but maybe sometimes they get caught with it. But
they do notice, that is for sure.
Look, everybody in the ballpark can see when a catcher's pulling a pitch or like that. Two and two now on Jose. On the high heater at 97. Second strikeout for Altuve tonight on an 0 for 4 night. With 2 outs, it's George Springer coming to the plate, and George got the offense kick-started. One of the 3 home runs tonight. Hit a bomb to right center field in the 1st inning. $15 on the year now for George. Guess and Heat got the slider. Again, the Texas Rangers have been defeated by Detroit 7-4. Justin Verlander winning his 5th on the year. The Angels are tied as they host Oakland. That in the 7th inning. It's 4-4. Felix Dubron has gone through 6 innings for the A's. 4 pitchers for Mike Scioscia's Angels.
Oh, the night is early.
Think he'll get to about 8 or 9?
At least.
Hammered to right field, back at the wall. And it's dropping. It's a ground rule double. Boy, I thought George got more of that when he hit it. Nonetheless, a 2-out double for Springer, his 2nd hit of the night. He's in scoring position for Carlos Correa.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the acoustics in this place or what, but I thought that ball was smashed too.
You had the same feeling I did.
Yeah. Get another look at that swing. Again, a fastball away. You can see it gets up a little towards that label.
It did.
But the sound is pretty good. Again, we talk about the offhand hitter. When he hits it the other way, that ball will be slicing away from the corner outfielder. And remember, Brad Miller for the Seattle Mariners moving from center field to right field. That guy is a shortstop playing the outfield. Not an easy thing to do right there.
George Springer is, for the good part, becoming an off-field hitter. Ground ball back up the middle, hits the foot of Zick. And now Carlos Correa reaches, infield single. Stopping at third is Springer. Back-to-back hits with 2 outs. The Astros threaten as Evan Gattis, the team leader in RBIs, comes to the plate.
You realize how lucky Ketel Marte is going after that ball with the bare hand. If he whiffs on that and it sneaks into the outfield, George Springer scores easy. There is no reason to go do or die right there. Catch it with the glove, keep the runner at third base, because if that finger doesn't touch that baseball, that's a run.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So first and third. That's the first hit on the night for Correa. 6 hits for the Astros. Evan Gattis with that first inning home run is 27th. And now trying to make something else happen. The Astros have 5 players with 20+ home runs. Gattis, Valbuena, Carter, Rasmus, and Correa. For Seattle, coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning, it's 8-9-1.
That's a good slider from Zick. You'd like to see Evan Gattis go to that swing where he really tries to force the ball up the middle the other way. See that front side for Gattis opening up just a hair, knowing that Zick has 96 in the tank. Whoa.
That one kicks off the glove of Sucre.
Looks like a pretty good pitch.
That was the anti-frame. Two balls and a strike.
That was the one.
Get a hanger?
Got a hanger. Got a mistake. Missed it. You can see him hitting himself in the back with that bat. He realizes it too. Pitch up in the zone. Little cement mixer. That's right in his kill zone too.
This first game in the series, awfully big for the Astros.
It's even bigger knowing that the Detroit Tigers beat Texas.
The Astros trying to get to a game and a half back of that Texas Rangers club.
Kind of an interesting spot. 3-2 count. Pitcher has 96 miles an hour in his arm, but you've seen a ton of sliders. Looks like he's going to go back to that slider.
And the walk, that'll load him up. And Jed Lowry coming to the plate. Guy who's had a knack for coming up with some awfully big swings. Oliver Perez and Pat Neshek getting loose in the Astros pen. Lloyd McClendon. It's not been the easiest of years for Seattle. It's anticipated that he will be brought back next year for Seattle.
He's got himself a new boss.
Yes, he does. Jerry DiPoto named the new general manager for the Mariners today. And a lot of people seem to feel like that's a real good hire. DiPoto was with the Angels earlier in the year and
pretty much found himself in a unique situation down there in LA.
Ball and a strike on Lowry
before getting fired.
Yeah. Well, it seemed to come to a power struggle between him and Mike Scioscia. Some good men right there leading the Astros club. Yeah, now a 2-1 count.
It's interesting to see Jerry Dipoto get hired within the division. It's always kind of a curious thing to see happen.
Springer at third, Correa at second, Gaddis at first. And a 2-2 count on Lowry.
What I like about Jed is he doesn't try and do too much. Tries to take what the pitcher gives him. You could see him thinking about going the other way with that fastball right there, just driving a couple runs. But I think also with that mentality allows his hands to stay back in case he does get that breaking ball.
He did just enough with the 3-run home run as a pinch hitter in the miracle game in Anaheim.
How great was that?
Got it to the back of the first row. Sucre comes out to the mound.
Obviously some scheming going on here.
Rick Waits, the pitching coach, coming out.
Second best mustache in all of baseball behind Rex Jones. But yeah, a lot of, what are we going to throw 2-2 here? And if you fall behind in that 3-2 count, what do you do?
It's a tough thing, in my opinion. There you go.
There's
number one.
Yeah. Rex Jones retiring at the end of the season.
In his final week of regular season Major League Baseball. He wants to finish with a flurry, though, and go for another month.
Yeah, you ain't lying. And you talk about good baseball people. He is one of those good baseball people. Entertaining, good at his job, great storyteller.
Down on strikes, Lowry. So the breaking ball gets him. The Astros leave the bases loaded in the 8th inning and lead it 3-2.
For the Houston Astros, and if you're a rookie, at some point there's going to be a costume waiting for you in your locker. Well, that day happened to be yesterday for the Astros. Matt Duffy dressed up as the Giants. Matt Duffy, that was Jed Lowry's idea. John Singleton having to dress up once again, standing along Preston Tucker, who's Bam Bam, which is his nickname. Perfect. I mentioned this earlier. Batwoman, Lance McCullers.
Good grief.
Remember the cleats? The Batwoman cleats.
He forgot to get fully undressed.
Max Stassi is himself here.
There are children
Okay,
in it.
and then this one pretty much broke Twitter. Vince Velasquez. That's a whip he's holding. Guys, I don't even know what to say. Carlos Correa, Wonder Woman. What do you got on that?
It was a frightening night on the plane. That's all I have got to say about it.
Don't take a nap on that flight.
It was great to talk to some of these guys today, though, and they were just so honest about how embarrassed they were, especially Vince Velasquez. He was like, my family saw those photos. It's good stuff.
Thanks, Julia. Are you the one that took all the photos? That's what I want to know.
I am. Miss Foxy Cleopatra. I
I waited for these guys. They went through security like that. Why do they need to be going through security?
That smile doesn't say embarrassment to me.
I mean, a rite of passage?
What did you guys have to do?
Well, I hid. Oh, you mean back in those days? It didn't happen in my day. I don't know about Blummer, but...
No, I got dressed up.
You got dressed up?
Yes.
What were you? Who were you?
I'm not sure I can say it on air, man.
Brad Miller leading off here in the 8th inning. Pops it up on the left side. Tony Sipp still working here in the 8th. And out number 1. He got 3 outs in the 7th. Jesus Sucre, the catcher, is due up, but nobody is out on deck. And now there's going to be a pinch hitter. It is Sean O'Malley, a switch hitter, going to come to the plate. So O'Malley pinch hitting for Jesus Sucre. Catchers for Seattle have had a miserable time with the bat this year. Mike Zunino, who you may think of as the regular catcher, sent back to the minor leagues and was not even recalled for September. Hit off the end of the bat, fly ball into left center field. Marisnick immediately called on it and makes the play. 2 outs, and back to the top now with Ketel Marte, who tied the game in the 6th inning with a long home run to right field, just his 2nd.
They dug it up. Yes.
So what exactly were you?
I think I was the PIMP of the group right there. Yeah. Ash?
See, you don't appear to be smiling that embarrassed look either.
No, you know why? Because every other guy was dressed like one of those Houston Astro rookies, and I got this, and I was elated. I was so proud that I had that much coverage.
This was the thrill uni, huh? When did all this start? Because I never saw it in my playing day.
I'm not sure. Seems like it'd be like a Larry Anderson type skit.
Yeah.
You know, one of those clever veterans that goes in there and just wants to abuse rookies.
Clever, huh?
Oh, man. That just goes to show you that nothing, you know, once that picture's out there, it's out there forever. Hopefully my kids are watching.
You have always dressed like a man. That much I can say for you.
Oh, good grief. Shouldn't we be focusing on our pennant chase off?
Yeah, back to that front. The Astros trying to creep up ever closer to the Texas Rangers. They'd like to get to a 1.5 back with a win tonight. 2 balls and a strike.
But again, you know, you're in a pennant chase, things are a little tight, and then you get to go out and have some fun like that. Get guys dressed up, take your mind off what the game's doing.
3 solo home runs have accounted for all the Astros scoring tonight. George Springer and Evan Gattis in the 1st. It was Chris Carter in the 7th. Pitch is hit high in the air to left field. It's once again Jake Marisnick. And that'll do it, a 1-2-3 inning. Tony Sipp has worked 2 scoreless. It's 3-2 Houston.
A behind-the-scenes look at Minute Maid Park. Learn all about the ballpark by visiting areas like the historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today.
To the ninth we go here in Game 1 of the 3-game set in Seattle. Astros on top, 3-2. Veteran left-hander Joe Beimel, 38 years of age, comes on now to work in the ninth inning and faces the 6, 7, 8 spots. Luis Valbuena will lead it off against the lefty. "13 years in the major leagues for Beimel. Career ERA at 4.09, on the season 4.33. And he's allowed 8 home runs in 43 innings. Beimel starts things with a strike.
Pretty interested to see Carlos Gomez on deck.
Came on defensively, and so hopefully all is well. Valbuena with a 1-1 count. With the 3 home runs for the Astros tonight, that's now 220 on the year. Second best in the major leagues, trailing only the Toronto Blue Jays. And at the start of play tonight, just 5 back of Toronto. Pitch is rammed into right center field in the gap. That's going to land and go to the wall. Valbuena stumbles around first, but into second base, a leadoff 2-bagger.
Beautiful swing left on left for Valbuena. We know he likes hitting here. Does a good job of keeping that front shoulder closed, but a pitch up in the zone is able to rake that into the right center field gap. Probably a little bit of a bonus for him to get to second base. For Carlos Gomez, also might be thinking about bunting and not trying to aggravate that injury he's dealing with.
And it is Carlos Gomez at the plate. Came on defensively, and now his first plate appearance of the night. See how Carlos plays this. That run is awfully big at second base. Might Carlos Gomez be trying to push a bunt on the right side, or dropping one even on the third base side? He does. He lays it on the third base side. Forces Seager to make the play. A sacrifice bunt moves Valbuena into third base. Make that Jonathan Villar, who is now the pinch runner. So Villar at third, 90 feet away, 1 out. And Jason Castro at the plate, lefty versus lefty. And Castro has struck out 3 times tonight.
Just takes one swing to erase that. Great bunt, by the way, by Carlos Gomez.
Yes, that was. Infield drawn in for the Mariners. Castro takes a strike. Don't think we've seen a straight up squeeze all season long for Houston. Oh, and 2. This is one of those must make contact at bats.
I agree. These are tough ones. put it in play, force a defense to make a play.
Angels are still tied at 4 with the Oakland A's. That's in the 8th inning in Anaheim. Trevor Gott is the relief pitcher now, working for the Angels. Michael Guaipe loosens for Seattle in their pen. Oliver Perez loosening for Houston. It's now 2-2 on Jason.
Good job by Seattle catcher John Hicks.
Hicks came on defensively. Fourth time tonight for Castro, down on strikes. Costly second out. And it brings up Jake Marisnick, the 9-hitter. Lloyd McClendon, the skipper, is coming out. He's pointing to the bullpen. He wants the right-hander Guaipo. It'll be pitcher number 5 on the night for Seattle. And just a tough, long night for Jason Castro. So McClendon makes his move, points to the bullpen.
Score. Time now for the Mako big hit of the game. It's a difference maker right now. Big bomb off the bat of Chris Carter. He has showed up here in the month of September, swinging a hot bat, swinging a strong bat also. Any run you can push across is a big one, and he's been doing it in a big way with those long bombs.
That swing, the difference in the ball game. 3-2. Jonathan Villar, the runner down at third base, came on as a pinch runner for Luis Valbuena, who doubled to start the inning. Nice sacrifice bunt by Carlos Gomez. But then that strikeout of Jason Castro now puts it in the hands of Jake Marisnick. Michael Guaipe makes his 18th appearance for Seattle. Fairly deep in the kitchen. It's 0-1 on Marisnick. Jake's 0 for 2. He's drawn a walk and then was caught stealing. Part of a double play as Jose Altuve struck out in the third inning. Oliver Perez appears poised for the 9th inning. Kyle Seager, left-hand hitter, leads it off for Seattle. He'll be followed by Nelson Cruz and Robinson Cano. So right in the heart of that Seattle order. 2, 3, 4 coming up. Angels and A's tied at 4 in the 8th inning. Texas Rangers have been down by Detroit 7-4. That hit something. But Marisnik hit by the pitch. And now Altuve gets a shot.
Kind of makes the situation a little bit interesting here. Altuve coming up, likes to hit with runners in scoring position to begin with, but you've got a burner at first base, burner at third base. You get in a situation where you could have a double steal to get that extra run. Supermo, you see a catch a little bit of the sleeves on that left forearm.
Altuve's 0 for 4 on his night. Came in with a 6-game hitting streak. Came in third in the league in hitting. Takes the strike. Needs 8 hits to get to 200 on his season. With tonight's game, 6 to play.
We know he can rattle that off pretty quick. That bat gets scalding hot like it can. My goodness.
Don't see him flinch on that breaking ball like that very often.
How about the movement on that pitch from Guaipe? First pitch up out of the zone was called a strike. This one in the zone somewhat. Ball.
Yeah, it's caught very poorly.
That was pretty good.
Wow. Another pitch should have been called a strike. Could have been for certain.
Good eye by Altuve.
What is going on? He hasn't gotten a call right yet in the 3 pitches to Altuve. Chopper to third. It's a fair ball, and the throw just does get him. Throwing on the run is Seager to make the play. Altuve 0 for 5 as he ends the 9th inning. The Astros strand a pair. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Houston trying to protect a 1-run lead. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Texas Bay Credit Union. Texas Bay Credit Union is the official credit union of the Houston Astros. Join today. The Astros very much want game 1 here in Seattle. Leading by a run. And you see Matt Duffy is on to play defensively at first base. There's your other Matt Duffy of the San Francisco Giants.
Creativity is awesome. Oh, man. Wow. I mean, somebody made the effort to go out there and get that jersey made. That's impressive.
So Duffy is the 3rd first baseman for the Astros tonight. You don't think that was just found in the discount department, huh?
No, I think there was a concerted effort on somebody's part to go out there and make that authentic.
Oliver Perez has the assignment to get that left-handed bat. Kyle Seager at the plate. And an 0-2 count, swinging at a pitch barely in the ballpark. Luke Gregerson has been throwing in the Astros pen.
That doesn't happen too often, and that is not a good feeling.
That should be entered in the contest for swinging at the worst pitch of the season.
I mean, you want to check your swing, but the body is just giving into the fact it's going to swing.
Take strike 3, caught looking. Perez gets that first out on 3 pitches. And now A.J. Hinch coming out. He's pointed to the pen. It will be Luke Gregerson coming on to try to close this thing out. Nelson Cruz and Robinson Cano coming to the plate. And another look at strike 3.
That's an at-bat to forget for Kyle Seager.
That's 10 strikeouts for Houston pitching. We will be right back.
The wall out there. Some Astros fans. Stay tuned after the game as Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton break down all the action from tonight's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show. That is presented by Houston Methodist.
1 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Astros trying to protect this 3-2 lead, bring on the closer. Luke Gregerson, 31 years of age. Gregerson looking for save number 30 on his year. Nelson Cruz at the plate has struck out all 3 at bats and falls behind.
A little bit different matchup than Nelson Cruz saw earlier in the game facing Lance McCullers. Saw some good changeups from Lance and then got blown away with fastballs. Now he's got to deal with the movement from Luke Gregerson with the sinker slider.
Gregerson out in front, a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, these are big games. But you can see the team's still loose. And that's been the story each day in the clubhouse.
I don't think there's been a day this season where these guys haven't believed in themselves.
4th strikeout of the night for Nelson Cruz. And that's 2 down here in the 9th inning. Base is empty for Robinson Cano.
Good short, quick slider. I think Gregerson works with a little bit of deception too. Kind of short arms that delivery. Good late break.
Quick check of the scoreboard. The Angels still tied with the A's at 4. That in the 8th inning. Cano takes a strike. 2 for 3 on his night. Gregerson right out in front, 0-2. A tough night for the hitters, generally speaking. 7 hits for Houston, 4 for Seattle, but there have been 4 home runs in the game, 3 hit by the Astros. 3 solo jobs, all the runs scored by Houston. Got him swinging. 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning, 2 picked up by Gregerson, and the Astros come into Seattle and win the first of 3 and the first of the 6 on this final road trip of the year. And the Astros pick up a game on the Texas Rangers and now find themselves a game and a half back of that division lead in the West. And that's what it looks like right now. The Angels trying to keep pace, but the Astros are not thinking about the Angels for the moment. It's about the Texas Rangers, and the Astros having some fun on night number 1 in Seattle. Again, that final tonight, Houston wins it 3-2.